As national stay-at-home guidelines are set to expire, a go-your-own-way approach is rapidly taking hold across the country. Governors facing a common enemy, but with a splintered array of strategies, leaving some of us under lockdown and others perhaps making dinner reservations. Tonight, there are signs of hope in the push to test more Americans for the virus and learn just what it is we're facing, as the number of dead keeps climbing, now over 62,000. We have a lot to tell you about tonight, starting with Miguel Almaguer.
Tonight, Los Angeles, home to 4 million people, becoming the nation's first major city to offer free coronavirus testing to all residents. The massive move to screen citizens, followed by the mayor of Jersey City, who says testing everyone is key to getting the economy back on track. With more drive-up sites in states like Wisconsin, in New York, the epicenter of the national outbreak, free testing for all is not available. Today, in an unprecedented move, the governor says starting next week, the city's subway system will be shut down from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. amid scenes like these of the homeless asleep on trains.
Let's clean, disinfect those trucks, those buses and trains every 24 hours. Why? Because that's the way we best protect the health of our essential workers.
With the national death toll climbing over 60,000, the state-by-state approach to reopening night and day. Just as officials in Texas announced beaches will reopen tomorrow, today the governor of California ordered beaches closed in Orange County, citing scenes like these. But local officials say it's an abuse of power, saying residents have been obeying guidelines.
I think the governor is overstating the concern, and as I said, I don't believe this is a wise move.
As protests to end stay-at-home orders in Michigan unfolded today, including armed demonstrators who entered the Capitol, states like Arizona, Illinois, Maine, Nevada, and Washington all extended their mandates. In Colorado, union officials at this meat packing plant say a 6th employee has died from the virus. But in Pennsylvania, hairdresser Nicole Messino says she's opening her doors whether she has permission or not.
I have employees that are like, I'm not going to be able to eat if it's 4 or 5 weeks. So I had to make the decision that, you know what, I'm just going to open my business.
With roughly 8 states that have stay-at-home orders expiring today or tomorrow, no state has reached the White House threshold to ease that restriction, a 14-day decline in cases.
You can't just leap over things and get into a situation where you're really tempting a rebound. That's the thing I get concerned about. I hope they don't do that.
With the national guidelines from the White House advising Americans to stay at home expiring today, American and Delta say all employees and passengers will soon need to wear face coverings, a sign of what could be to come at businesses all across the country. Lester?
All right, Miguel Almaguer, thanks. As scientists race to find a cure, the company that makes a promising treatment we told you about here last night says it can produce several million rounds of the drug remdesivir next year. The FDA is expected to approve emergency use soon. Here's Stephanie Gosk.
22-year-old John Viplis had to cut short his semester in Spain. Days after returning home, he was in the hospital.
I was almost hallucinating, and I didn't really know what was completely going on due to the high fever and the cough.
But then a glimmer of hope. He was chosen to be part of a controlled trial for the antiviral drug remdesivir.
Had you seen any improvement up until that point?
None whatsoever. It just only got worse until that point.
And then he says he did get better, quickly.
This is not the total answer by any means, but it's a very important first step.
Preliminary results from the NIH study show that the median recovery time for patients who took remdesivir was 11 days, compared to 15 for those who took the placebo.
4 days in such a terrible disease like this is a long time. It's a lifetime, to be honest with you.
Within the coming days, the FDA is expected to issue an emergency use order for the drug, allowing it to be given to COVID-19 patients, even though it doesn't have official approval yet. The FDA points out that the results of the study, which included more than 1,000 patients in the U.S., Europe, and Asia, are still preliminary, but they are generating excitement.
This trial came just in time for those patients who were desperately in need for a new treatment.
At New York's Montefiore Hospital, 91 patients took part in the trial.
We are looking next at whether or not now we have one really good drug, whether or not if we combine two drugs that work in different ways, can we attack this disease even better?
Vipalis, an asthma sufferer, is thankful.
After the first 3 days, I was really able to do stuff on my own. And shortly after that, I was able to get off oxygen.
Remdesivir may not be a silver bullet, but health officials say there's now proof that coronavirus has a weakness. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New York.
Let's turn now to the staggering economic crisis for so many families and businesses. New numbers today showing 30 million Americans are now jobless after just 6 weeks. Many more are still having problems just applying for benefits. Here's Jolene Kent.
From Washington,
a couple weeks from now, I'm going to have a whole new slew of bills coming up.
To New York.
I've never experienced anything like this before.
To Florida.
I'm scared right now. It's not okay.
30 million workers have filed for unemployment in the last 6 weeks. That means a stunning 18% of the U.S. workforce is out of a job, compared to just over 4% 2 months ago. And that doesn't even include people like single mother Ashley Reeves, who's been trying to file for unemployment in Florida for a month.
I just feel at a loss. I just feel like nothing's gonna come through.
She was told this week she is ineligible, like 40% of people applying in Florida. However, the state has not explained why, only telling workers to apply again. The surge in applications nationwide is fueled by major companies still slashing thousands of jobs.
Nearly 18 million Americans have received unemployment benefits, but many states are still struggling with outdated systems and an avalanche of applications, even here in California.
Which I know sounds crazy because we're in California and we have the tech capital of the world. We just wish it could work faster.
What are you doing to fix these problems?
We have now redirected over 1,300 state employees to help with unemployment insurance benefits.
But the efforts to solve these problems in many states are still not enough. Laura Sachs lost her job as a Broadway tour musician last month. She and her boyfriend, who is a pianist, have applied for unemployment.
I haven't spoke to anyone and I haven't received anything.
So they're getting creative, taking song requests online for donations.
Because there have been so many people, I no longer feel unemployed, honestly.
A positive note in this economic catastrophe. Jolene Kent, NBC News, Los Angeles.
This is Gabe Gutierrez. As the Navy's hospital ship Comfort departed New York today, a moving salute from the city's first responders. Now there are new questions about whether their jobs could soon be on the line without help from the federal government.
The state has a $13 billion deficit. They provided us nothing. Nothing for police, nothing for firefighters.
Across the country, state and local governments are facing crushing budget shortfalls due to cratering tax revenues. One report estimates states will be short more than $200 billion over the next fiscal year. 21 states would have to fill budget gaps of at least 10%. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has suggested states could declare bankruptcy.
We're not interested in borrowing money from future generations to send down to states to help them with bad decisions they've made in the past, unrelated to the coronavirus epidemic.
Will you be able to fill this huge budget shortfall without deep cuts to the police and fire departments?
No, there's no way.
Nan Whaley is the mayor of Dayton, Ohio, which has already furloughed nearly 500 city workers.
We need to have federal assistance because those frontline services, one, are so important, and number two, they help keep the economy moving.
The toll on government workers has been grueling. Today, mourners said their final goodbye to 5-year-old COVID victim Skylar Herbert, the daughter of 2 first responders in Detroit. In New Jersey, state police civilian employee Latasha Andrews was just 33 years old. 3 other members of her family have also died.
She's just an all-around amazing person, always really giving 100%.
Across the country, many local governments say they may have to make drastic cuts by June. Lester?
All right, Gabe, thanks. The brave healthcare workers on the front line are also giving so much. And tonight we take a closer look at the toll on their mental health. The sister of the emergency room doctor who took her own life has a message. Here's Kate Snow.
She was fierce, and she was brilliant and caring for patients and having compassion for people. was her being.
Jennifer Feist is the sister of Dr. Lorna Breen, who oversaw the emergency room at New York Presbyterian Allen Hospital.
She said it was like Armageddon. She said, there are so many sick people everywhere. She said people are just dying in the waiting room before they even get in.
On Today, Jennifer and her husband Corey told Savannah Dr. Breen got sick with coronavirus and just days later went back to work.
I kept telling my sister, if you can't function, you can't help anybody. You have to sleep.
Sensing she was in trouble, her family and friends got her to a hospital, but after being released, she took her own life.
For somebody whose life's calling is helping people, and she just couldn't help enough people, and the combination was just untenable.
I cried the whole way home.
Arlene Van Dyke is a critical care nurse at Holy Name Medical Center in New Jersey. It was devastating when a beloved colleague, Jesus Villaluz, passed away.
Today we lost him. We lined the walls as he was taken away. That was a beautiful moment.
A study of doctors and nurses in China found a considerable proportion reported depression, anxiety, insomnia, and distress, with women reporting more severe symptoms.
I'd like you to try to breathe in for 4 and out for 4.
It's why Northwestern in Chicago is taking time for wellness breaks.
It really allowed me to drown out all the noise, check in with myself, make sure that I am feeling okay and have the energy to keep going.
It's much easier to keep a person in good shape when they're already in good shape than waiting until they break down.
Exactly why Dr. Breen's family is speaking out.
She couldn't stop working, and she certainly couldn't tell anybody she was struggling. And that needs to be a conversation that changes. People need to be able to say they're suffering and to take a break.
Her family's created the Dr. Lorna Breen Heroes Fund to provide mental health support to healthcare providers. Kate Snow, NBC News.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.